Images flash by. El Capitan, two bear cubs playing, a smooth granite mountainside, the Milky Way in the night sky. Title: Yosemite Nature Notes. Text fades in. Tuesday, June 26, 2012. Thousands of visitors, 30 filmmakers, one day in Yosemite. High-speed shots flash by showing people, scenery, and activities in Yosemite. In time-lapse video, we see the sun setting over Yosemite Valley. Above the forest and mountains, stars fill the darkening sky. All the stars move together in a slow arc. The Milky Way is a broad swath of faint, mist-like light that crosses the heavens in a vertical path, moving in the same arc as the stars. The sun rises over the valley, flashing into view over the towering cliffs. Sunlight slowly fills the valley and illuminates the forest. Seen from above, a waterfall gushes down a steep slope. In the forest, a deer munches and looks around. Bright wildflowers wave gently in the breeze. The Merced River is calm and peaceful. Text appears: Yosemite Valley, 8:05 a.m. A uniformed ranger opens a gate. Inside the corral, a brown horse waits.
Most parks, a ranger is expected to kind of do everything, expected to know everything. We wear a tremendous amount of different hats. Today, being that it's still early, should be a pretty quiet morning.
On horseback, he greets tourists by the road.
Hi.
He rides the horse along the road toward the next group of tourists.
You guys want to pet him? Say hi to him? His name's Clint. You guys want to pet him? You can pet him right here.
Hi, Clint.
He really likes kids. He's a really good horse.
Children pose for a photo with the ranger and horse.
Thanks, sir.
Good? Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a great morning. Clint.
Text appears: Glacier Point, 8:25 a.m. A man carries a long bundle on his shoulder.
Yosemite is one of the most regulated hang gliding sites on the planet. Only advanced pilots are allowed to fly here, but it's extremely restrictive as far as what time you're allowed to fly, and early in the morning when it's really smooth and you have to be down, there's only one spot to land. We can't get up and fly and soar and go cross country like we might in other places. But it's a beautiful spot, and so it's worth it.
Assembling a glider.
And then on top of that, I don't think there's another national park that allows hang gliding. So we're really blessed that we can fly this big old God's church. It's just amazing. How many times do you go to church and they let you fly around inside it?
Standing on the edge of a cliff, strapped into a glider.
Watching.
The pilot runs off the edge of the cliff, taking a horizontal posture as the glider takes flight. The glider is an arrow-shaped frame with plastic sheets pulled tight to make wide wings. The pilot hangs face down below the wings on a simple metal scaffold. As he takes off, he lifts his legs and tucks them into a cloth sack hanging from the airframe. The sack supports and streamlines his body. He wears a helmet with a large curved faceplate. Other gliders fly over the mountainous terrain. The gliders have tiny cameras mounted on various parts of the frame or trailing behind them on cables. The gliders have different colors, and each pilot uses their own outfit and helmet design. The gliders make close passes near cliffs and waterfalls. Flying near a cliff, one pilot lets go of his glider's control bar and stretches his arms wide, drifting along in the wind. A pilot with a red and white glider makes a sharp banking turn, the landscape spinning around him. Another glider swoops low over an open, grassy field. A pilot brings his blue and green glider in for a landing, speeding a few feet above the ground as he pulls his legs free. The red and white glider lands, slowing down as the pilot touches the ground with his feet and jogs to a stop, carrying the glider like a backpack.
Yeah!
Text appears: Glacier Point, 10:15 a.m.
So there's a couple of ways of starting a painting. You can have a limited palette, or you can be like me and love every color in the store and just bring that along. So I do both. The difference between painting and photography to me is that painting, I'm standing in one place for an hour and a half, and it's a very intimate experience. A photographer will come to this same place, take the picture, and leave. And I think that's the difference. It's a time element. It's a friendship. It's an intimacy. It's sort of hard to talk about, but it's the work is in the seeing and deciding what's going to happen.
A painting of Half Dome. Text appears, Tuolumne Meadows, 10:30 a.m. In an office, a man uses a rubber stamp on a pile of letters.
Welcome to the Tuolumne Meadows Post Office. I am Michael Kojaki, the Tuolumne Post Maestro, in lovely Tuolumne Meadows, where everything is Beto in the Meadow. These are all of the resupply packages for the John Muir and Pacific Crest Trail hikers. Pacific Crest Trail, these guys start in Mexico and end in Canada, so this is all their resupply packaging. Socks, mama's cookies, ice axes, you name it.
Yeah, I am enjoying the beautiful surroundings after walking 940-something miles to get here. Stayed in the campground last night and got a burger at the cafe and some resupply out of the store. Saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a couple hundred miles. And I'm gonna be hiking out today. Gotta make another 20-something every day. So I hope to get to Canada by October.
A hiker with a large backpack walks up a trail in the forest. At a park entrance, a ranger writes the date on a whiteboard. We see a pair of arms paddling a kayak on open water. Around the park, tourists take photos of each other and the scenery. Beneath a walking bridge, tourists paddle dinghies down a leisurely river. From high overlooks, tourists relax and survey the view. On a granite plateau, a man balances atop a wobbly, round rock. A climber hangs on to a vertical rock face with his fingertips while moving his feet to a nearby ledge. A horseback rider leads a team of laden pack mules over a bridge. Two women pose for a photo in front of an enormous sequoia tree. Text appears, Mariposa Grove, 12:55 p.m.
Okay, my name is Maria, but everybody calls me Tinker. I'm a tram driver in the Grove, and I've been in the park for 18 years.
Her truck pulls a trailer full of seated tourists.
That's the neat thing about this job is I meet people from all over the world. So I not only get to share the trees, but I can ask them about where they live. I go, why would I want to go to Oklahoma? You know, what would I see there? Or why would I want to go to Italy? So I get a lot of information. I love it.
It's not that one bigger than the other. It makes really for me a big difference. It's just that they are all big and red and very tall. And when you see them, the most of them you see together, the most impressive it is.
It's almost a spiritual experience with how much these trees have seen in their lifetime and how long their lifespan is compared to ours. We're just a speck in comparison to how long these trees will be here.
The tourists comment while standing amid the giant sequoias in the grove. Insects swarm in the sunlight shining between the trees. On a granite mountainside, a woman stands and looks at Half Dome in the distance. On the other side of the valley, an artist stands at the side of a paved trail and paints a small image of Half Dome. Text appears, Half Dome, 2:45 p.m. The cable path on Half Dome's side is busy with hikers. The climbers use the parallel cables to assist in climbing and descending the steep, smooth rock. At the top, hikers relax, cheer, and take in the view.
Ambulance 1, please respond to Tuolumne Meadow to receive incoming patient via air from Half Dome.
So we're responding to a medical patient on the subdome of Half Dome. The report was a 49-year-old male with severe chest pain. We've ordered our park helicopter to land at Tuolumne Meadow and meet with our park ranger medics who are going to fly to the subdome, land, hopefully be able to just move the patient into the helicopter and fly him back to Ahwahnee Meadow in preparation for a medical flight to a more definitive care.
The rescue team returns to the helicopter, which waits at the bottom of the cable path. The helicopter takes off. Text appears. Housekeeping camp, 4:16 p.m.
So we're going to let the wood burn down. As that burns down, we'll spread that around the pan, and we'll put the corn on top of the wood, and that will roast the corn in the husk.
The man cooks using a metal fire pit, aluminum foil, and a large pot. Text appears. Ahwahnee Hotel, 4:35 p.m.
How many people got in the line? You got 3 people on the line?
3 people on the line.
All right.
Got Johnny in the back covering all the banquets.
Saw your specials earlier. They look phenomenal.
Thank you.
Little Yorkshire pudding, vegetable of the day, and our wonderful prime rib.
In a busy kitchen, cooks carefully arrange food on plates. A server carries a tray of covered dishes out into the bustling dining room. The vaulted room is lit by tall windows and chandeliers. The pianist plays on a full-size grand piano. The intricately presented dishes include a roasted chicken leg and a seared fish fillet. Text appears. Yosemite Wilderness, 4:45 p.m. A young boy walks with his father up a mountain trail.
See that thing? So?
Yeah, thing's sick.
It is sick.
I'm So Wakala Jones. We're getting ready to go climb Cathedral Peak.
Now the real fun begins.
At the base of the steep climb, the hikers prepare safety gear. The father climbs first, setting anchors in the rock. Tethered by a rope, the son follows, carefully finding handholds in the nearly vertical rock slope. As they get higher, they put on jackets. At the top, the father holds the safety line and encourages his son, who is climbing around a wide crevice. The boy reaches the summit and gives his father a high five. They sit together on the windy peak and look down at the landscape far below. Later, the boy rappels down the sheer side of the mountain, descending on a long rope. The rock face is lit in orange by the setting sun. At a busy overlook, tourists walk back and forth while a man sits quietly on a low stone wall, looking out at the mountains and valley. At the top of Half Dome, a man stands at the edge of a sheer drop-off, watching the sun set. As the day draws to a close, the valley grows shadowed. On Half Dome and other mountains, the dusk shadow forms a horizontal line with the deep orange light from the setting sun. The border between day and night rises up the mountains and fades as the sun vanishes beneath the horizon. Tourists crowd a scenic outlook to watch the sun set on distant Half Dome, coming and going as night falls. At night, time-lapse footage shows streams of headlights racing through the valley, in and out of parking lots and around Yosemite Village. Under a starlit sky, the 2-story Majestic Hotel, formerly the Ahwahnee Hotel, glows with lights. From above, parts of the valley are brightly lit and streaks of headlights zoom between and around the islands of light. Looking up through the trees in the forest, we see the spinning vault of countless stars and the white glow of the Milky Way. In a final time-lapse shot of sunset, the dimming sun descends toward the horizon, followed by a curtain of stars. Credits roll. Producer-director Stephen M. Bumgardner. Associate producer Ryan Christensen. Photographers Ryan Alonzo, Stephen M. Bumgardner, Joe Capra, Vanessa Carr, Chris Cheng, Ryan Christensen, Chaz Curry, Colin Delhanty, David Elkins, Gustav Fjeldstrom, Matthew Gibeau, Jim Goldstein, Garrett Gunther, Alex Halagian, Julie Hansard, Brian Hawkins, Daniel Jeffcoach, John Jenkins, Ryan Kalaki, Dustin Kukuk, Jonah Mathewson, Sheldon Neal, Josh Owens, Chris Pritchard, Kristen Ramsey, Sean Reeder, Jeff Southwick, Ed Sapansky, Cody Tuttle, Andrew Walker. The National Park Service Arrowhead logo and the Yosemite Conservancy Half Dome logo appear.